अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन। आप लोग आज इकट्ठा हुए हैं इस सेशन पे एंड बहुत लोगों का पार्टिसिपेशन भी रहा है एंड आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड एंड आई एम श्योर ऑल ऑफ you are looking forward to the session today. So the key to a healthy diet is to eat the right amount of calories for how active you are. So it all depends if you are you eating right, are you eating the balanced diet, because everyone consume a certain amount of energies that are being utilized. So healthy eating doesn't have to be overly complicated. But in my case, I feel overwhelmed most of the time by all the conflicting nutrition and diet advices out there. So I'm sure even you face the same issues. And the cornerstone of healthy diet should be to replace processed food, which we all should avoid, and move on to eating real food whenever and wherever possible. And especially when you are leading an urban life the way we are living in metros. So all the more reason that we should avoid eating processed food and move on to eating the real food. Before we start or introduce to the speakers, let me also tell you that there were 12 foods which were eaten by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to eat these 12 foods which are very very nutritious, which includes milk, it includes dates, honey, barley, pomegranate, अनार जो होता है, वाटर जाहिर सी बात है, grapes, mushroom, olive oil, vinegar, melon and figs. फिक्स जो होती हैं आपकी अंजीर। तो ये जो 12 आपके फूड्स हैं, ये बहुत न्यूट्रिशियस होते हैं और ये हमें बताया गया है, सिखाया गया है कि इन 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 खासकर इन फूड्स के ऊपर बहुत तवज्जो देनी चाहिए। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट एंड लेट्स बिगिन आवर सेशन। सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट राइट फूड, हेल्थ एंड हैप्पीनेस। या सो before we move on to our first speaker, let me introduce to you. She is my very good friend, Zareen Naqvi. She's originally from Lucknow, born in Jeddah, and grew up in Dubai and Mumbai. She did her engineering from Bharatiya Vidyapeeth College, Mumbai, married with two children. And currently she is residing in Mumbai from last 12 years. She has traveled extensively. She loves traveling. She's loved the passion for eating right, and we will be hearing her today speaking all about right eating. And she's a fitness freak. She loves yoga and also running. So Zareen is a nutritionist by profession, and today she will share with us the fundamentals of nutrition and fitness. So over to you, Zareen. We are eagerly waiting for you to share the tips with us today.
Thank you so much, Sabah, for the lovely introduction. Hello, ladies. A very good afternoon to all of you. And today I will be sharing some fundamentals of nutrition and fitness. So the basic thing that we have to all keep in mind. So what are the goal for this session is going to be understanding the basic concepts and the science behind nutrition, so that it helps us become our own nutritionist. We don't have to run from pillar to post, from dietitian to another dietitian, asking everyone what to do, what to eat. And I'm not disregarding the dietitians. They do a fantastic job. They will give you the right information. But obviously, at the end of it, we can't keep going to these people all the time. At some point, we have to take, we should know. So for that, to understand the basic science is very important, so that whatever we eat, you won't have a dietitian all the time standing right next to you. So when you eat, you should know exactly what you're eating, how many calories are you taking in on a daily basis, which is very important. You should not exceed the number of recommended daily allowance of calories, and you should always stick to that this thing. And obviously, it's in your hands, and so that's going to be the goal of our session today. And so let's begin with the essential 6 nutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, fats, water, vitamins, and minerals. The first three nutrients, that's carbs, protein, and fats, they give us energy, all the energy that we need to get through our day. The other three, water, vitamins, and minerals, they also play an extremely important role. They are essential for various body functions like metabolism, immunity, healing, repair, cell damage, flow of blood, in digestion, etc. Now coming to the biggest question of all time, all over the world, globally, among us women is how do we gain and lose the weight. It's simpler than we think. It is to begin with it, all the energy that we consume on a daily basis comes from carbs, proteins, and fats. Once they are digested, it's converted into energy. Now, whenever we intake this energy, if it is equivalent to the expenditure, we will not gain weight. If our energy intake is more than our physical activity and our energy expenditure, we will gain weight. And if our calorie intake is less than our energy expenditure, we will lose the weight. So this is the basic understanding of how the simple science behind. So no matter what you eat, aap kuch bhi kha lo, aap carbs kha lo, obviously saturated fats plays a role over there. You should remember not to exceed your average daily calorie intake. That is for a woman between her 40s and 50s. If she has an average weight of say 55 or 60 kgs, she should be consuming about 1900 to 2000 calories a day based on her physical activity as well. Uh, these three nutrients are the essential energy givers to our body, while water, vitamins, and minerals have different functions like healing, giving us good immunity, giving us helping us in our metabolism, flow of blood, etc. So now coming to the most important part, which is very it's a big thing for women all over the world. How do we gain and how do we lose that weight? Why? To be very honest, it is actually really simple. We have so much of an information overload all over the internet that sometimes we just get confused that what exactly is it that we should do. It all comes down to a very simple science. The three essential nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Once these are digested, I'm sorry.
It'll move. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of stuck.
Go up and normal में ले आओ.
Second, it's stuck. I'm so sorry for this interruption. My PPT is kind of stuck.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
अभी फिर से करो कोशिश, आगे चलो.
हाँ, आ गया. आ रहा है, आप लोगों को दिख रहा है? Can
Yes,
you all
yes.
watch it? Yeah. Okay. So now, sorry, coming back. So the three essential nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, once these three are digested, they give us energy, which is calories. Now, the most important thing that we should all always keep in mind, our energy intake, when it will be equivalent to our energy expenditure, we will remain weight neutral. We will not gain the weight. When our energy intake will be more than our energy expenditure, we will gain weight. And when our energy intake will be less than our energy expenditure, we will lose the weight. So coming down to the simple thing that no matter what protein, carbohydrate, or fat we eat, it all gives us calories. And if we consume more than what is required on a daily basis, we are going to gain weight. It can be from anything. At the same time, keeping a balance is also very important. Now here I'm sharing with you all a small table that gives us the info on how many calories do we need per day. The source is from the National Institute of Nutrition, ICMR. I've got this table from there. So our energy and calorie needs per day depend on a few basic things. That is our age, our height, our weight, metabolism, and physical activity. Now, when you can see this red box here, it says women who do sedentary work, they require 1900 calories. Now, all of this is based on an average Indian woman who has an average weight and about between 40 and 50 years of age. This is that consideration. Obviously, younger people need different calories. Then comes to, so the sedentary woman worker needs 1900, the moderate needs 2230, the heavy needs 2850. And if the women are pregnant or lactating, they need an additional 350 or 600 to the existing, calorie intake. So this is it. Now, this is something really important. Let's take into account 3 sedentary urban women in the age bracket of 43 to 47 years old, weighing 55 kg, whose per day calorie requirement is 1900 calories. Now you can see this graph. We have the vertical are the calories, and the horizontal is the time, the days of the month. And 1900 calorie is what they require. Now let's take Tina. Her average daily intake is 900 calories, which is actually the average. So she will not gain weight. She will remain weight neutral. Now, obviously, we don't consume the same amount of calories every day. Sometimes we'll consume slightly more, sometimes slightly less. But if we stick to our average recommended daily allowance, then by the end of the month, we will not gain that weight. We will be weight neutral. Now coming to Rana, her average daily intake is 1750 calories, which is much lower than the recommended. So obviously, over a period of months or 2 months, she will lose weight. And finally, we have Bano, whose average daily intake is 2100 calories. And obviously, over a period of a month, she will gain weight. Now, like I said, irrespective of the carbohydrates, proteins, or fats, all the energy unused will get stored as fat. So it doesn't matter whether you get the energy from your fats or proteins or carbohydrates. If it is in excess, that in the body will store it as fat. The body will not give it into your muscle, or it will not give it into your, any other part. It will go only as fat. Irrespective of the source, carbs, fats, or proteins, the remainder of calories, which the body is not able, because obviously every body has a certain amount of calories required according to their age and their physical activity that they do. And that is something that needs to be calculated individually. So if your intake is more, your calorie intake, you will lose weight because your body doesn't require more calories than than the body requires, and it will get stored as fat. Now, coming to the balanced diet. Now, here is also another table that also includes the essential, vitamins and minerals in addition to the earlier table I showed you. So this PPT will be shared by everybody in case anybody wants it, and in order to refer to the different energy average that they need, calorie average that they need per day. So what is a balanced diet? A balanced diet should have the right number of calories. It should have the right quantities of carbs, fats, proteins, and minerals. Everything should be in a balanced way. And very important that it should come from the right source. Plant versus animals, natural versus processed, and organic versus chemical. Organic versus chemical. Okay. Now, very important about know your carbs. Know your carbs. Everybody must have heard about the GI index, the glycemic index. It's very it's a very spoken about thing. Everybody is very they want to know what is the glycemic index and everything. So what is glycemic index? Glycemic index is nothing but the rise in sugar levels in your blood. That is all the glycemic index is. So the food items that have a low glycemic index, when you eat them, when you consume them, your sugar levels in the blood will rise very slowly and steadily. Compared to foods with a high GI, you will get an instant spike of energy, like your sodas and your processed chocolates, pastries, not chocolates, sorry, pastries and junk food especially. They give you an instant spike in your energy. What happens is when you look at this little graph over here, the blood sugar level, the ideal blood sugar level is the red line. When you consume a high GI food, the yellow line is what is the energy and the spike that it gives. So everything above the red line will be stored as fat. However, foods with the low GI index, which is the blue line, when you consume them, that will get consumed over a period of time slowly, and it will not get stored as fat. That is why it is recommended to, especially for the diabetic people or those who are wanting to lose weight, that you should consume food items with a low glycemic index. Now, on your screen, you can see a low GI is 55 or less, high GI is 70 or more, and mid-range GI is 56 to 69. This is on a scale of 0 to 100. Now, the source of your carbohydrates and sugars, it should again be natural compared to the refined, because obviously the natural sugars will not give you that spike, or, and in general, they are healthy. Yeah. Let me give you this example here as well. The difference between white bread and whole wheat bread. So both these breads have the same amount of calories, maybe plus minus 5 calories here and there. But the GI of a white bread is 71, while the GI of a whole wheat bread is 56. And that is why a lot of people always recommend that, you should go for multigrain breads, you should go for whole wheat breads, because they have a low GI, and that does not let that excess sugar risen in your body getting stored as fat. It kind of, gets digested and breaks down over a period of time. And if that time has passed by, then, it really works for you. I'm sorry that actually there is a lot of things that I wanted to share, so I have tried to put in maximum in here. This could be a little too much, but I will read it out to you all, so you all don't have to really stress your eyes out. Proteins. Now, we all know proteins, they help in building muscles, carrying oxygen, making antibodies, fighting infections, and keeping our cells healthy and making new ones. So when it comes to keeping cells healthy and making new ones, that's where, it's all cells. Yeah, it's all cells. It's about your, epithelial cells, your skin, your hair, everything. Fish, poultry, eggs. Now, I am not sure if everyone knows, but eggs have the highest biological value. But by biological value, we mean that the protein that gets consumed fastest and maximum in your body are eggs. Compared to fish or red meat or chicken, eggs have the highest biological value. That's why it's said that breakfast, if you have eggs, you will feel fuller for a long time. And depending on each person, yolks are not all that bad. Yolks should be consumed, obviously in limited quantities. Again, depending upon the person. You have tofu, dairy, other chickpea, lentils. Okay, avocados have an amazing, source of protein for vegetarian people or vegans, since they cannot get their proteins from the regular, non-vegetarian diet. So avocados are great for people who are vegetarians because it has a very high biological value again. Next, it's always recommended to mix small quantities of animal proteins and more quantities of, plant proteins. Yeah, if you have like a small piece of chicken or fish or anything and you have a lot of vegetables, that's the perfect way to go about it. Again, red meat is very high in saturated fats, and it should be consumed in very moderate quantities and not on a daily basis. All meats should be responsibly sourced and transported, and should have a plant-based diet. Now, the plant-based diet is disputed. Some people say no, it's okay. Some people, so it's each unto their own. But what is most important is when buying meat, when the animals are transported properly and they are responsibly fed and they're taken care of, their flesh becomes healthier and softer and more nutritious. So it's not just that we go to a place and we buy our meat and okay, that's the end of it. We should make sure that they have been transported, they've been grown with love and care. So when they're grown with love and care, they'll have nice fleshy meats, and then you'll be happy eating that meat. Next comes to frozen and processed meats should be completely avoided. Fresh, I would always recommend buying fresh meat and not storing the fresh meat for more than a week in your refrigerators. Maximum a week, and that is enough. Again, if you're looking at weight loss, seafood is amazing in omega-3 fats. And also, if you're wanting to lose weight, it is very low in saturated fats and high in protein, seafood. And that is why it is a great option if you're looking at losing weight. Cook your meat cooking your meat is very important. It improves the quality of the proteins. On cooking, it makes it tastier and everything. But also remember not to overdo it. If you overdo your meat, it again loses its nutrients. Next, the best way to thaw your frozen meat. Just give me a second. Yeah, the best way to thaw your frozen meat is to leave it under slow running tap water. Now I know water is a big issue and we shouldn't waste water, but make sure it's really slow and not more than 2 to 3, maximum 5 minutes. Better still, you remove your food an hour before you want to cook from the freezer, wash it well and let the excess water drain, and then you can cook it. So that should go well. Again, also very important, we should go for locally sourced meats, meats that are available, in our, that are, grown in our neighborhood or, a couple of hours away, consuming. Now, I know that we have these amazing, meats that are available all over the world that are transported and imported into our country from various parts of the world, which are really amazing, the quality, the taste, everything. But the time taken for a meat to, once it's, slaughtered and cut, to the time that we actually consume the meat, is, I mean, if the time is too much, then again the meat starts losing its nutritive properties. So better still, consume local meat, and obviously you're traveling or something, then you can just go eat whatever you want. Okay, now next, just a few things to remember. I should be winding up my presentation now. Just a few things to remember. Irrespective of the source, carbs, proteins, fats, excess energy unused by our body will be stored as fat. Stick to your recommended daily calorie allowance. Consult a dietitian or a doctor to figure out what exactly will be your daily allowance, because every person is different. No two people have the same calorie intake. Consume saturated fats are extremely important. Uh, I'm sorry, I think I missed a slide here. Sorry. Yeah, I missed a slide here. I missed the fats slide. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Please, I just need another 2 minutes. I missed a slide here. Okay. Know your fats and oils. Okay, this is also a very, very important part of our diet. Completely avoid trans fats. Trans fats will be found in burgers, chips, cakes, cookies, desserts, and all the junk. Absolutely yummy to eat, but very, very unhealthy. Restrict it to maybe just once a month or something. Mainly because the oil used in these kind of fats are, they are chemically, made, and it's, keeping cost effectiveness in mind, and, longer shelf lives, they are absolutely unhealthy. Basically, fats are of 3 types: trans fats, unsaturated fats, and saturated fats. I told you about the trans fats. Now coming to the unsaturated fats. The main difference between unsaturated and saturated fats are the origin. Unsaturated fats are of plant origin, while the saturated fats are of animal origin. Coming to unsaturated fats, it can be one of the main source of fat in our food, and daily cooking and all. We should stick to unsaturated fats, as it has a low saturation content. Uh, Again, the oils, olive, safflower, canola, sesame, they have very high levels of unsaturated fats, which are good for the heart. So unsaturated fats, again, have, they are, mono and poly, which are again very good for the heart. Virgin olive oil should be preferred to regular olive oil, because virgin olive oil is made from 100% naturally grown olives, while regular olive oils are blended with other ingredients that improve the shelf life and bring down the cost. Again, however, olive oils, because it is expensive and not, we don't really know the organic, or olive oils that are available in our country, the source and everything, and the import and all. So it's preferred that you go for, again, local sourced oils, so that because again, local oils from the locally sourced seeds, they are suitable as per our weather and our geography. Safflower oil is among the locally grown oils in our country. It has high saturated fats, and it is one of the oldest crops of the world. So safflower oil is a good option for daily cooking. Olive oil, yes, you can use it in your salads with breads and all, but I would not recommend using olive oil for daily cooking, as and I mean, coming down to the basics, the minute you overheat any oil, it tends to lose its properties. So we should stick to cooking on slower flames, so that too we can like save all the nutritive content of oils. Coming to saturated fats, now one of the oils that have maximum saturated fats are coconut oils. Coconut is extremely good for your hair and skin. Again, it should be consumed in very moderate quantities. It's good, it's healthy, it gives a good flavor to your cooking, but again, in moderate quantities. Its saturation levels are even higher than that of butter and ghee, coconut oil. Now, coming again, small quantities of fat, of saturated fat, a number of times a day, as compared to the same total at one time, causes less elevation of cholesterol levels. That is also very, very important. So, if you have a little bowl of kheer and you have it, a small bowl of kheer, if you have it at one go versus having it like, maybe 2 spoons over a day, there's absolutely no harm in that. Coconut oil, as everybody would have heard a lot about coconut oil. Again, it is consumed, it should be consumed in moderate quantities. Again, there are two types: virgin and refined. Virgin is made from fresh coconuts. It's cold pressed, mechanically made, and no chemicals added, while refined oil is made from dried coconut. It has good shelf life, widely available, less expensive, but again, it's not very healthy. And since virgin coconut oil is also very expensive, it's better to consume in lesser quantities. Again, including fresh and raw coconut in your diet will be a better option compared to using the coconut oil. So here is a little table that gives the percentage of saturated and unsaturated fats in every oil. We can always share this for our audience as they require it. All that I'm saying right now will all be shared once y'all ask for it already. Okay, coming to the end now, let's always remember, I've already said that, irrespective of the source, carbs, fats, and proteins, the excess energy unused will be stored as fat. Please stick to your daily recommended calorie allowance. Consume saturated fats in small quantities, opt for sugars and foods with low GI. Protein-rich diets will facilitate weight loss. Always remember, protein-rich, when you're looking for weight loss, please increase your protein diet, protein quantities. Multiple small meals throughout the day, every 2 hours, is also an amazing way if you're looking at losing weight. Cooking vegetables, cover it, use minimum water. Excessive washing and overcooking destroys the nutrient value. Again, overboiling milk, though improves the taste and density, we all love Papawa Doodh because it's so good in the tea and in everything, but again, it destroys the nutritive content. So once in a way is okay, but not on a daily basis. For your tea and coffee, try using milk which is and low fat, high fat, that doesn't matter. You can use your regular milk. Just keep the quantity in mind. This is something I really swear by: eating fresh as much as possible. Avoid storing cooked food in your fridge for over 24 hours, in the freezer maximum a week. Again, this is also very, I really like this. Include a variety of salts in your cooking. Now, salts that are sourced from the mountainous regions are extremely rich in minerals and vitamins. Example, the Himalayan pink salt, rock salt, black salt. So not on a daily basis, but a little bit in your cooking, maybe just over your egg or a little sprinkle on your salad should be great. It helps you with the essential minerals and vitamins your body needs. When buying groceries, sorry, I missed a step. Try buying when it comes to fruits and vegetables, try to buy as much chemical-free and organic fruits and vegetables as possible compared to your other groceries. But while buying daily groceries, do remember to check the labels for preservative, chemical, and artificial coloring-free products. Also, opt for sealed items instead of the loose packaged ones, the ones that we had at those independent kirana or gala stores. I would prefer buying items that are sealed, so as from the hygienic point of view. I don't mean canned and processed, I mean sealed. And yeah, again, next, please buy from a trustworthy brand. Do remember to inquire about its manufacturer and sourcing. Who's the manufacturer? From where is he getting sourced? We have all these amazing customer care numbers available for us now. We can just pick up the phone, call them, and ask them details, and that is your right to information. You should know what you're eating. Coming down to water, try drinking natural water with a pH level between 7 and 8, because when the alkalinity is between 7 and 8, it helps neutralize the acid levels in our body, which is again that will give you good skin, and you'll glow, and it'll be great for you. Drinking at least 2 to 3 liters in a day is a must. So everybody, that is about it. And please remember, everyone, investing in good quality food is not an expense. It is an investment. Eat little but eat good, and actual good quality food will not make you hungry. It will keep you full for the required time that you need to remain full. Any questions from anybody, I'll be happy to answer. And if I'm not able to answer all questions here, we will definitely answer them with time, and I can answer them individually as well. Okay, thank you everyone. Over to you, Sabah. Thank you.
Shukriya बहुत, and it was really very informative, the pointers that you shared with us today. And inshallah, going forward, if in case किसी का कोई query होता है, by the way, ये बताऊं कि हमारे पास कुछ queries पहले से ही आ गई थी, तो ज़रीन ने उसको इतने beautifully अपने presentation में integrate किया हुआ है. So and very informative tips are there, which we all wanted to have answers, right? So if in case we get some more queries on a chat box today, वो भी हम end of the session करेंगे. But thank you Zareen, thank you so much, and especially जो तुम्हारा ये presentation ये share करो, I want to lose weight.
Thank you.
You want to lose weight.
No, absolutely, bilkul.
So
you can. Yeah.
Yes, so moving on to our next speaker, who's a star speaker, all the way from Dubai. She's joining us. Her name is Tasneem Fatima Nawab. She is a wellness expert. So we've been all waiting for her to speak today on this forum. So thank you so much, Tasneem, for joining. With a passion for fitness and nutrition since childhood, living healthy was always easy for Tasneem, because her it's in her genes, I guess. So she was lucky. But as she grew, those around her really struggled with weight issues. And they were reaching out to her and asking, भाई ये बताइए हमारा weight बढ़ रहा है और आपका नहीं, how you maintaining it? This brought about a lot of friends asking her this question with her, on the fitness part of it. So which led her to start her own, nutrition startup, which is based out of Dubai, and its name is Elixir Nutrition, right, Tasneem?
Yes.
So serving meal plans was the obvious choice, but Tasneem wanted to make a difference, and thus started hosting workshops, seminars, many of them, right, to spread awareness. People who are not only just struggling with the weight issues, but otherwise also to have a good, healthy body. So how to stay fit and active. So today she is going to share with us all the important tips on how to lead a healthy healthy urban living. So over to you, Tasneem. We're eagerly waiting, all of us.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having me today. And thank you, Zareen. It was amazing. And in fact, a lot of the things that she's mentioned, I will most likely be overlapping, but in a slightly different way. So I will be talking about groceries in general, and sort of like the entire life cycle of your food in an urban lifestyle. So where you start your grocery shopping, until how to pick your groceries, right up to when your food has been picked, it's been prepared, and how to store it once it's also been cooked. So yeah, let's start. So I want to start off initially with just a little introduction about the F&B industry, because the F&B industry is a very tricky place. They have one of the best lawyers on this planet, and that is because they are constantly using loopholes to be able to maximize profit and to be able to sell to consumers. So we'll get into the smaller, finer details of it as we speak. But I want to start off with one case study, and this is Tropicana. So I'm assuming everyone knows Tropicana juices. They come under the Coca-Cola company. So everything I'm going to say should not be a shock because it's the Coca-Cola company. And what Tropicana did in 2012 was that they faced multiple lawsuits for false advertising because they were using the word 100% natural orange juice. Now, can you believe they actually got away with the entire case and they faced 0 charges? And for any of us, we can taste the difference in fresh orange juice versus Tropicana, right? It's pretty obvious that it's not fresh, but they were still able to get away with the entire legal claim. And that is because what they do is they take the entire orange and they rip it into different pieces, let's say. So from the skin of the orange, they will remove the essential oils. From those oils, they will create preservatives and flavorings. From the juice, they will remove the juice, and then they will process it to increase the life cycle, the life span of the juice. And they will add, while the juice is being processed, they will remove the sugars, they will process those sugars so they have a longer life, and they will re-add them to the juice. So if you think about it, technically, the juice is 100% fresh. It's 100% natural, right? Not fresh, 100% natural, because they've literally used that one orange to create everything. But is it fresh? Is it healthy? No, because it's been overly processed. And just as Zareen mentioned, that anything as if it's overly processed, overly cooked, overly heated, it's losing nutrition. Also, just fresh fruit sitting on the shelf for more than 3 to 4 days starts, like the nutrient value starts diminishing very quickly after day 3. So orange juice from Tropicana has been in the process for at least 1.5 years before it reaches the shelf. And then how long it's been sitting on the shelf before you pick it up is another story altogether. So that's why you need to be very careful and wary of what you're buying and your labels, basically. So reading labels, I think, is one of the most important things while going grocery shopping, because there are a lot of hidden nasties that we'll also be talking about a little bit from now. And yeah, as long as you're mindful and aware, I think that is the number one point, because then, like Zareen mentioned, you are your own nutritionist. You don't need us as much as we would love to have clients. You will not need us because you will be able to figure it out for yourself. Okay, so the F&B industry, a little more about the F&B industry. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention in 2012 stated that 69% of the population of the US were obese, and every 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will get cancer at one point in their life. That is an unbelievably high number. It's like 50%, and I'm very bad at math, 1 out of 3 women. So basically, the fact that they are so confidently telling us that you will get cancer, you will fall ill, it just tells us that there's definitely a massive shift in something. And that something is your food and your lifestyle. And your lifestyle, to an extent, you can control because you're exercising, or you're keeping yourself busy through work. But your food is something that is very difficult to control because you will buy what's available on the shelf. Unless you grow your own food, which one of our speakers might just be speaking about after me. Okay. So the fact that the F&B industry has shifted massively tells us about the whole life cycle of our health. And in our parents' generation, so at least my parents' generation, the rate for PCOS, which was polycystic ovarian syndrome, was 1 out of 100 women, and now it's 1 out of 6. So again, that massive spike has come out of mainly your food habits, and the fact that our food is so injected, the hormones are all over the place, because of which we end up having issues with our hormones, because of which there's this spike in a lot of illnesses. The basis of illness breeding in our body are two. One is the pH level in your body, and the second is your hormones. These are very closely linked to one another, and they're both affected by food. So you either have your pH level affecting your hormones, or you have your hormones affecting your pH level, and both of these start off from your food, from your diet. Not just food, but diet, including the drinks and everything. So pH levels, to maintain your pH levels, there are certain foods, mainly green leafy foods like kale, spinach, broccoli. All of these things help to alkalize your body. And then there are foods that cause acidity in your body. And when I say acidity, I don't mean like the acidity in your stomach where you feel like you're burping like khatti dakare. It's more like the acidity of your blood in general. So when a child is born, typically they are at 7 pH, which is a perfectly neutral body. And that is how it's supposed to be. Now, in our urban lifestyle, what happens is that we are very, either we're stressed out, there's a lot of pollution, we're eating food that is not 100% clean, and all of these things contribute towards acidity in our body. So we have to counterbalance it with making it as alkaline as possible. So having only a neutral diet will not help because we are slightly acidic at all times. So we have to have a slightly alkaline diet to be able to counterbalance that. So a lot of the foods, like I mentioned, green fruits and vegetables, just real foods in general helps to keep your body alkaline, as well as the water. So since our body is 70% liquid, it's water, the quickest way to change your body is through water. So having water, like again, Zareen mentioned, that is more alkaline is perfect. So typically having 7 to 8.5 pH of water is amazing. 8 to 8.5 is apt, but make sure it's not below 7, because once your body has actually absorbed the water, it's going to be a lot more alkaline than it was in the bottle. So having fresh water is always a better option. Fresh water being water that has not been stored in plastic. Try getting glass bottles, because then there's less interaction of the water with the plastic itself. There are 3 main things that you need to be careful about when it comes to water: your alkalinity, or the pH level, basically, the microstructuring of the water. So there are certain machines and water filters that help you to change the structure of the water, so it becomes a lot smaller structured water, so it's absorbed quicker in your body. And the third is the total dissolved solids, the TDS. So if the TDS is higher, it's good for you because it has more minerals then, and it's not dead water in a way. Okay, having spoken about that, we are going to move on to catchphrases. I will come back to the hormones and how hormones are also affected by your food, but not very much, because that's a very detailed topic and is going to need its own session. So we'll start talking about catchphrases that the F&B industry uses. First is organic. Simple, you see something organic, pick it up. Again, it's an investment, not an expenditure. So even if it's expensive, it is the way to go, because trust me, buying 5 gajar for, I don't know what the rate is in India, but like buying it for a little more expensive is definitely cheaper than paying your doctor 5 years down the line. So I'm sorry to all the doctors that are here. You're doing a great job, but we always want to be more as preventive as possible. So yeah, organic is the easiest. You see organic, you pick it up. Organic can be anything in terms of fruits and vegetables, or meats or dairy or any of that. So as long as it's organic, it's good to go. And the only thing that you would want to be careful about then is the expiration, the shelf life, basically. You want to buy it as fresh as possible. And you want to make sure that the logistic chain is as farm to table as possible. So you want to avoid having a lot of layers of the food coming to you. So as quickly as it arrives to you is the best in terms of freshness and in terms of the transport as well. Conventional is usually typical. It's loaded with pesticides and hormones. It's either been genetically modified recently or it's had a history of genetic modification. So if you have to go into the history of watermelon, for example, it looked and tasted completely different from the watermelon we have right now. So these are things that we just have to, I guess, live with to an extent, but we want to do whatever we can to benefit our bodies as well. Then we have gluten-free. Now there's this massive craze about gluten and dairy, and you should not be having it. That is very specific to people with specific allergies. If you're not allergic to gluten or to dairy, there is absolutely no issue with consuming it. If you have an allergy, it'll definitely show in terms of bloating, or you'll feel heavy after eating. But that's exactly why we, like Desis, we have wheat rotis and nothing happens to us. But then the Western world completely skips on gluten, and then you end up having certain other issues. So it's very important to continue having gluten and dairy as long as you're not allergic, because it has its own nutrition that will not be available from other sources as much. Then we have plant-based proteins. Plant-based proteins would be like legumes, seeds, nuts, grains, dark leafy vegetables, nut butters, tofu, soya beans, all of this. But when it comes to these artificially grown meats, that is a problem. So you don't want to have that, lab-grown plant protein that is catching on. At least here in Dubai, everywhere you go to like a beef burger shop, and then they have a lab-grown meat, and I'm just like, I'm not eating that. Like, there's something's wrong with you if you're even selling that, So stay away from that. Grass-fed is, it's in the word. It says that animals that have been fed grass. Now, that is good and bad depending on what the item is. So if you're talking about milk from grass-fed cows, that is great, because then it is what cows eat. But if you're going for grass-fed for animals that conventionally don't eat grass, that is a problem. Like, let's say, for example, when they say seed-fed, the egg is from a seed-fed chicken or a grain-fed chicken. The issue with that is that it might seem like, oh, you know what, their diet has been controlled, but that also means that they haven't been fed worms, and that is a natural diet for chickens. So if they're not eating their natural diet, definitely what they're giving to us in eggs is not going to be balanced, and that is where the whole hormone imbalance starts coming into our bodies then, besides the chickens obviously being like massively injected at this point in time. Then we have pasture raised. That is still okay, but what pasture raised means is that they're very limited. So their exercise is limited, the space in which they're moving is limited, their food is fresh, but the food itself is controlled in terms of the food might have pesticides, insecticides in it. So grass-fed is better than pasture raised. And when it comes to free-range eggs, they have no difference. The only difference is that the chicken, instead of sitting in a coop, is just walking on a tar road. That's the only difference. So free-range eggs are just hiked up in price, but they have zero difference in nutrition. So don't bother wasting your money there. When it comes to seafood, farm-raised fish are the worst, because that is like a massive net in a lake or a river, or most likely a human-made pond or something, and all the fish are just stuffed in there. So if one fish is sick, you will have at least 50 fish around it getting sick, because they're so cramped into that small space. So it's very important to not buy farm-raised. Farm-raised fish also by default have a lot of antibiotics in their body, because the fact that they're crammed in, they want to control the sickness levels of the fish and the seafood. So farm-raised, big no. Luckily in India, there's a lot of fresh seafood that you'll get. So that's the best way to go. Wild seafood is the best. Yeah, in terms of seafood, that's it. Other than that, cage free or veg fed, all of this, or eggs I was mentioning, it's not a big difference. Hormone free is the best way to go because it's not been injected. You can also tell by the size of the food. So if the chickens are really plump and fat, like the pieces of chicken, there's an issue. There's definitely some injections and Botox going on in the chicken. But if you're talking about hormone free, your chicken is as lean as a Victoria's Secret model, and you can go and consume it happily. GMO free is genetically modified again, so you want to try staying away from that. A lot of GMOs have been conducted over time, so some of it we can't get away with, like watermelon, but as much as we can avoid it, we should. Antibiotic free is great as well, because then again, that is messing with our hormones once it's inside our body. So stay away from antibiotics. So antibiotic free is a good way to go. Lactose free, we've spoken about it. Lactose is nothing but a certain type of sugar in dairy. And the whole craze about lactose is mainly because of, again, going back to the GI value, how it spikes your insulin, all of that. It's pointless unless you are allergic. Milk and dairy, in my opinion, and from all the research that I've done, has to be full fat, because dairy has two vitamins, A and D, that's alpha and delta. And these vitamins are fat soluble. So there are only two types of vitamins, water soluble and fat soluble. Vitamins that are water soluble only break down in the presence of water, and that are fat soluble break down in the presence of fat. Now, if you're consuming milk or dairy that has low fat, but it has these vitamins, and most likely it's fortified with vitamin A and D, your dairy products, that means your body is it's trying to process the vitamins and absorb them, but because there's a lack of fat to break them down and facilitate absorption, is going right through your body. So your body is actually working hard to do something that it cannot do, and over time it will show that effect of fatigue in a way of digestion, which has been kind of pointless. Okay, then let's move on to the common nasties. I will probably be about another 5-7 minutes. If anyone's bored, please let me know. So we're just going to talk about.
Just sorry to interrupt you. Just one quick question: how much time do we have in total? Because I think Zahabia has to speak as well. Huda has to speak as well.
Yes.
Sabah, could you please?
I think another 2 minutes. I think that should be fine, Tasneem.
All right. Okay, 2 minutes. Okay. Common nasties in our food this is when it comes to reading our labels. So common nasties in our food are two major that you will constantly see. One is aspartame, and two is high fructose corn syrup. Now, what aspartame is, it's 100% humanly produced. It's at least 200 times sweeter than sugar, which explains why it's highly profitable for the food industry. And that is constantly available in beverages, ketchup, certain foods, desserts, breakfast cereal, chewing gum, and even certain low-fat, low-calorie sweeteners. So if you want to stick with any sort of sweeteners, the best would be honey, agave, maple syrup. Honey is the best, of course, but you want to stay away from all other types of sweeteners, artificial, or that what do you call it? The sugar-free, that little yellow box. All of these things are actually pretty bad for you. The acidity is very high in aspartame. It is between 4.5 to 5.5 pH. So once it's processed, it's getting that much worse in your body. It ends up leading to a lot of headaches and a lot of irregularity in your insulin cycle in the future, which could push you towards diabetes, other conditions in your body, definitely weight issues. All right, and the code on the label for aspartame is E951. So sometimes aspartame is not written as aspartame, but it just says E951, including any sort of E95 something. So it's a form of an artificial sweetener. It can be E951, E953, E950. All of them are a big no. So if you see any of that, just drop the product. High fructose corn syrup is 42% to 56% fructose. That is extremely high for the body to break down. So natural fruits and vegetables have fructose, but only between 5 and 10%. And they are supported with hydration as well as fiber content. So your body is easily able to break it down. But when it comes to high fructose corn syrup, it's pure fructose, which is a long chain sugar, which is very difficult for the body to break down, as well as there is no sort of hydration or fiber to help to break that down. We're quickly going to talk about a few organic versus conventional buys, and then we'll wrap up. So certain foods should only and only be organic. That would be typically fruits and vegetables that have a very thin skin. So things like strawberries, cherries, grapes, apples, nectarines, tomatoes, cucumbers, celery, spinach, bell peppers, all of these should always be organic. But when it comes to conventional, if you cannot find organic, you can buy pineapples, mangoes, which we Indians cannot live without, papayas, kiwi, any sort of melons, avocados, corn, peas, frozen peas, not fresh peas, asparagus, onions, broccoli, cauliflower, and eggplant. These can be conventional if you do not find organic. All right, we're just going to do one last activity and then we're finished. I just wanted to have everyone calculate their BMR, which is the basal metabolic rate. And this is going to tell you exactly how much calorie you need intake. Of course, it's not just the calories that are important. It's also your source that we've been speaking about, but it starts with the calories. So I need everyone to take out their calculators and write this down. So the formula for women, I will only share it for women because I think they're just women in the group. But if anyone needs it for the men in your life, let me know and I will share that formula as well.
The men in our lives, okay.
Yeah, because I don't think the men are going to do this. You're going to have to do it for them.
Yes.
Okay. So women, the formula is 655 plus 9.6 multiplied by your weight in kgs plus 1.8 multiplied by the height in centimeters minus 4.7 multiplied by your age in years.
Please, can you put it on the screen or share it on the chat? I'm not so fast with my fingers.
Yeah, Tasneem, there is a simpler formula also for BMI. I think this is a bit complicated one you are telling to the.
Yeah,
so
this
we
is
have
BMR, not BMI.
BMR. Okay. Sorry.
Yes, yeah.
Please
BMI is,
share it in the chat.
Please do it after the
Okay.
show. We'll calculate. Okay.
Share it
all right,
in the chat room.
Repeat it.
You put
okay,
in the chat and we'll be calculating once we'll be discussing. Thank you so much.
all right, no problem.
Please, Tasneem,
Okay,
put it in the chat box.
You put
I
the things in the chat box. We'll copy.
I will definitely, I'll do that. I'll just walk you through what you have to do. So once you've calculated this, there's a table of your activity. So you have to multiply that BMR number with your activity number. And then it will tell you exactly how much calories. So if you stick with that
Okay.
calorie, it is
Okay.
neutral. If you consume higher than that, weight loss. If you consume lesser than that, weight gain.
That's
Yeah,
great.
I said it the other way around.
The other way around, we got it.
The other way
That-
around. You got it.
Tasneem,
There is
just
the
put
table.
this,
There is the table.
just put this
Just type
thing
it
into
down.
the chat.
I will do that now.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, great. So I think that's it. I mean, I could just sort of summarize it if you'd want me to, but
Please do. Tasneem.
Okay.
Great.
okay,
Excellent.
okay.
Very
Um,
useful presentation.
Thank you. Just the pantry. I forgot about the pantry. So anything that has high fructose corn syrup, natural flavors or natural colors, also you stay away from. Try to use stuff that's packaged in glass over packaged in metal, because food always has an interaction with metal rather than glass. Stay away from trans fat. Again, like Zareen mentioned, it's artificial. You want to stay away from anything that has any sort of sugar. Natural sugars are great, because of which, of course, you stick with real foods over packaged food. Stay away from GMO ingredients. However, if you are picking oil, olive oil, canola oil is great. Otherwise, skip all the other oils. Okay, what else do we have? Nutrition in general, your food in general should be nutrient dense over calorie dense. So even if you're having a really small amount, if it's got the nutrition, your body will feel full. And that's exactly why liquid detoxes are such a good way to go every once in a while. So if you all are interested in that, you can either contact us or research, and that will tell you a lot about how to keep your
Follow you
body.
on Instagram. Follow you
Thank you.
on Instagram.
Yes,
Please, everyone
absolutely.
follow me on
Please do
Instagram.
follow her. All her secrets
Yeah.
are on Instagram. You can
Yeah.
follow her there.
Everything is on Instagram. Yes.
Yeah,
Just
there's a
to, sorry,
question
just
for
do
you.
share the table of the activity along with the formula. You said na that
I
you
will.
multiply with the
She
table.
would definitely. She
I-
has to.
I will do that right now. And I think someone was asking about mustard oil. I would stay away from mustard oil because it isn't very happy. Yeah, your body is not very happy processing the oil. So yeah, no mustard. Once in a while is fine, but not on a daily basis.
Yeah, I would agree with the same thing. That once in a while mustard oil, coconut oil, they're all good. They all have a certain nutritive content. But yeah, and like it's always said, it is always about the quantity. It is never about, I mean, it is about the quality, but quantity is extremely important. When you will keep yourself restricted to the quantity that you're supposed to consume, everything, your hair, your skin, your bones, your digestive system, your eyesight, everything is going to be fabulous.
So, thank you so much, Tasneem, for such an informative, tips that you have shared today.
Thank you.
It's we are also learning, and more we will interact with you, inshallah. People will reach out to you if they have any queries. Thank you so much. And
Thank
wo
you.
BHR wala bhi, you can put your calculation there so that we all of us can try. And
All right.
see that हमारा calorie high, मेरा तो high है पक्का. So moving on to our third speaker of the day is Zahabia Raza. इनको हम हुदा भी बोलते हैं यहाँ पे प्यार से. And she is master in economics, married with 2 beautiful kids. Her passion has been, creating and caring for the nature, which to satisfy her craving and to the nature, nurture her soul. She kept herself indulged in, and she picked up a lot of hobbies also. So she bakes, she does pot dishes, she makes cakes, cookies, she does reading, poem. I mean, there are many of them. She
Wow.
does painting also, and her recent one is gardening. So gardening was done. She typically does gardening in pots because we are all in urban cities like Gurgaon. So she does pots and cutting and seeds which she grows in her kitchen garden. So all this soon turned into her hobby, and she realized that investing time and energy in good way enhances overall well-being, not only for her, but in general, and happiness with it defines personality of a person. So today she will be sharing her experience of kitchen gardening the urban way. So over to you, Huda. So please
Thank
show
you,
us your,
Saravaji, for the warm
yeah,
welcome.
please share
Thank you
all the
so
time.
much. We had a wonderful presentation from Tasneem and Zareen, and I am really looking forward for the written format so that I can refer to that
बट
later
एक
on.
चीज मैं बताऊं, आज एक चीज कॉमन है, सबका कुछ दुबई से कनेक्शन है यहाँ पे.
Yeah,
Most of the speakers,
we
somehow
can hang
have
out here
gone
after.
or currently residing, or have been, born and brought up there.
Yeah,
So I
somehow
think,
we still want to stay connected to Dubai, and we are all again meeting. And we actually are meeting for the because of this program. We are actually meeting for the first time, and somehow we got to know that we have our connections from
Yes.
Makkah, from Jeddah, from Indian
Yes,
embassies.
yes,
So that-
exactly, exactly. This is Huda. Me and Huda both have a great connection. We went to the same school in Jeddah, the Indian Embassy School.
Yeah,
So, a few years apart, but yes,
came
we
to know
did.
that while talking.
Yes,
that's
yes,
the whole
absolutely.
fun of connecting on such forums. It's not.
Yes.
It's a lot of learning, and you get to meet a lot of good people around.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
over to you, Huda. Let's start with you.
Yeah, sure, Sarvaji. Thank you. I think we're already running behind,
Yes.
running late already. So I'll try to reduce all this as much as I can. So gardening, obviously, I developed as a hobby over time. With kids, with everything, you really can't get a hold of, responsibilities. मेरे अब्बा हमेशा हमसे एक बात कहते थे, responsibilities, job, work, everything ये सब चलता रहता है. आपकी two hobbies should run with you from childhood to your old age. You should invest lot amount of time and energy or whatever spare time you get. That really defines your personality, your level of thinking. So over time, ठीक है, painting is switch, it keeps switching. So when I came to Gurgaon, so it's a really it's very therapeutical for me कि आप you have that, you need that perspective to understand कि अब इस plant को क्या चाहिए, इसको कितनी लाइट चाहिए, कितना पानी चाहिए, कौन सी soil चाहिए. तो it needs a perspective to understand क्या क्या चाहिए, and plus patience. Time लगता है seeds germinate होने में. They do not do that all the time. You get a lot of fails. Many plants die on you, but that's okay. You need to learn. You learn that over time. So it developed for me as a hobby. It was a great thing to do with my kids. It saves money. I'll start sharing my slide also. It saves money. Obviously, you can get organic things. You can share.
Share screen.
Hello.
So it saves you money. You can get organic. It obviously it's strengthening also क्योंकि इसमें physical activity चाहिए होती है. You keep digging, you change pots, you need soil, you need to understand things. So ठीक है, it's good for you. It's very therapeutic. So अब we are living in an urban environment. You have that limited space. You have that limited balconies, या फिर आपके पास gardens नहीं हैं, आपके पास area नहीं है बड़ा, तो obviously you have to start with your soil, with your pots. तो the basic understanding is कि आपको चाहिए क्या start करने के लिए. हमें समझ नहीं आता. We don't understand कि where to start, how to start, क्या चाहिए. बहुत knowledge चाहिए होती है. No, actually you need 4 basic things: soil, container, sunlight, water. Over time you understand. Or this is a very good time to start. Monsoon है. Plants acclimatize well in this season. They die less. They live more. So सबसे पहले we'll try understanding कि soil composition क्या होनी चाहिए. So you start with your. I hope my screen is sharing.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Sudha, we can see. Yes, we can see.
Okay. तो सबसे पहले हम start करेंगे कि हमें garden pots में डालने के लिए सबसे पहले you need soil obviously. तो soil आप कहाँ से? तो wherever you are living, 70% of the garden soil. Garden soil means आप जहाँ रह रहे हैं, you pick soil from that area. आप उसको लाइए. You sterilize that. I recommend sterilizing. Sterilizing क्या? 2 घंटे you leave that in the sunlight, in that afternoon sun, it gets sterilized. 10% vermicompost, 10% leaf compost, 10% sand. Vermicompost is actually it is actually cow dung or the nutritions you can add it to your soil. Then you have that leaf compost or coco peat that actually brings in air and उसमें थोड़ा सा moisture retention रहता है उसकी वजह से. That is good for you. 10% sand to make the soil airy so that your roots don't get clogged over time. अब आपको कितने टाइम में vermicompost डालना पड़ेगा? That could be understood by आपके fruit bearing. अगर अब जब तक flower आ रहा है, you don't need much. As soon as the fruit start coming, आपको you need 15 days or maybe a month. You need to keep adding the nutrients to the soil. Faster your plants are growing, the more fertilizer you need, so you can support them in their growth. Next would be the sunlight. Sun kitni chahiye? Ek area maybe there are various, you can have microclimates in a single balcony. कहीं full sun आता है, कहीं partial आता है, कहीं partial shade or sun there, या फिर कहीं full shade रहता है. Full shade doesn't mean that the plants don't need sun. Full sun means आपका 6 to 8 hours of sun. मतलब balcony में किसी angle पे ज़्यादा sun आ रहा है, तो you can grow cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, brinjals. ये सब आप उस area में grow करते हैं. They really need lots of sunlight. Then comes the partial sunny and the partial shade plants. ये वो होते हैं which need 4 to 6 hours sunlight. मतलब एक angle पे जाके afternoon sun या maybe जब बिल्कुल sun setting you get sun at that point. तो वहाँ पर you can have the root vegetables. ये सब pots की हो रही हैं बात. You can easily do that in your balconies. Root vegetables होंगे. You have potato, you have carrot, beets. So basically the roots वाले vegetables, they need partial shade. Partial shade means afternoon bright sun नहीं चाहिए. That might burn your crops. Partial sun means 4 to 6 hours sunlight है similarly, but it can tolerate that harsh afternoon sun also. So उसमें आपका chili, cauliflower, cabbage. Then there are certain vegetables, edible plants that need full shade. Full shade means indoors नहीं रखने, ये मतलब नहीं है कि you don't need sun for that. You definitely need sun, but that dissolved sunlight. Blockages में भी चलेगा. It requires 2 to 4 hours sunlight. उसमें आपके leafy greens आते हैं, like lettuce आता है, spinach आता है. Microgreens in the later parts, but after it has germinated and sprouted, उसके बाद you can put that in the full shade area. Or maybe herbs, जैसे आपके basil है, oregano है. You can do that easily in your Gurgaon environment. I have been doing that, and it's really giving a good result. So depend करता है, you have to understand कि आपके plant को क्या चाहिए. Before buying, just because it's looking ornamental, you should not buy your plants. You have to understand what is the season of the year, how your house is located, sun facing or not facing, plus आपका soil कैसा है, आप जहाँ रह रहे हैं. You have to understand these things. अब आप grocery वहाँ nursery जाते हैं, you feel कि ये plant मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है, मैं ले लूँ. आप ले तो आएंगे, but it might die on you. So you really need to discuss that, understand that. Maybe आप nursery में जो वहाँ रहते हैं, you can ask them कि मेरे यहाँ भाई ये situation है. What plant should I take? So he easily guides you on that. Gurgaon में there are many, मतलब Golf Course Road पे there are many nurseries. You can go anywhere. Then we need water. Watering plants also requires your attention. Firstly, आपको right soil choose करनी है. Then you should have drainage holes in your pots. Pots जिसमें नीचे drainage holes नहीं है, you might keep watering, clog your roots. The roots get clogged, the plants might die. So drainage hole नीचे, holes करके उसके ऊपर pebbles रख के, so that there's seepage of water from the pot. जो extra water होता है, let it drain out. वो करना जरूरी है. Then choosing the right soil. Every plant requires not more. There might not be very drastic differences in edible plants. लेकिन जैसे आपके succulents होते हैं, they really need very sandy soil. तो उसकी soil kind is different. Depending आप ornamental कर रहे हैं, flowering कर रहे हैं, edible कर रहे हैं, so you need different soils. Then you use a watering can in a sense that you're not wasting water. That helps you preserve water. Then always check the moisture in the soil before watering. Agar if I say कि you have to water your plants every day, I don't think that's correct to say. Always check the soil by 1 inch soil में अपनी, you just dip your finger inside, you dig your finger inside the soil to check if it's dry or it's still wet. If it's still wet, हो सकता है 2 दिन में you might need to water it. हो सकता है if it's too sunny, the location, you keeping them on the rooftop, you might need to water them twice a day. Very much depending on the soil and the atmosphere and the environment. Then don't water too frequently or too little. आपने सुबह सोचा, you might feel like I'll water the plants. You did not water the pot up to 1 inch on the top. आपने थोड़ा सा डाला, ये सोचा you'll do that again in the evening. That's wrong. Whenever you start watering, always make sure कि आप watering all the roots at a single time. पूरा उसकी roots wet हो जानी चाहिए. You should not wait कि अभी half कर दूं, half बाद में करूंगी. The roots might get confused. Okay, so you need to water. Don't very frequent, not very frequently, nor too little. Every time the roots should feel satiated. Then we have, it's better if you hydrate your plants in the morning. This is said because after the sun starts coming up, the heat starts building up. So it's better if the plants have a backup at that time. Already they are moistened, they are having that hydration to deal with the sunlight, and they're ready to make the food. So it's better you hydrate in the morning. If not possible, obviously any time of the day can help, but the best time is in the morning. Then don't use a soil that is overtly water retentive. By this it means that roots get clogged, the plants might die. Over retentive means it's storing a lot of water. Whatever water you are giving to the soil, 1 inch, आपने 1 inch water on the top डाला, but the water is not draining, extra water is not draining out from your pot. That's not a good thing. So extra water should be able to be drained out from the pot jitni requirement hai soil ki, the rest of that should go away from the pot. That is how the roots feel healthy. Then we have the point that water less in winters and more spring. Of course, the plants go in a dormancy state in winters. Growth slow हो जाएगी. उस time आप seedlings या cuttings लगाएंगे. Many times they don't work. Then you will be disheartened के it's not working. So it's also the weather. So इसीलिए मैंने कहा this is a very good time. You can start experimenting, cutting, putting your cuttings or maybe planting your seeds. This is the perfect time you can start. They really very much acclimatize and germinate very nicely. Then again, don't overwater, obviously, as I have repeated. Then we have the container requirement. I'll show you. Am I visible? Hello?
Yeah.
We can see your screen. We can see your screen.
Can you guys
see your
me?
presentation?
No, we can't see you, Zahavia.
Yeah.
We can't see you.
I wanted to show something. Okay, maybe I'll do that later on. Okay, so what is the container requirement? Depending upon the size of the container and the type of the container, you have to plant the seeds. For example, for brinjals, for tomatoes, the bigger the pot, the more bigger would be the size of the fruits you are getting. आप उसको छोटे pot में लगाओगे, plants would come, but the size would be smaller because the roots don't have the place to expand. तो जितनी ज़्यादा roots deep होंगी और expand करेंगी, the fruit would be more juicy, not juicy exactly, but bigger inside. Then drainage ka take care karna, obviously. Then there are certain plants that don't actually do well in pots. So it is always recommended to check before trying out something कि ये work करेगा कि नहीं. आपके brinjals हैं, tomatoes हैं, coriander है, पुदीना, पालक, chili, capsicum, all your creepers, lauki, watermelon, turai, they all do well in pots. You can do all of these. We are actually discussing urban gardening. So for beginners, this is all working out very well. Or soil quality. Soil quality से मतलब ये है कि at times you're living at a place, जैसे supposedly Gulf. The soil is not very conducive to growth. It's too sandy, it's too grainy. So and in those places, you can actually make use of container gardenings that will help you modulate the quality of soil you need. You can add or decrease whatever requirements as per the requirement of the plant. So in that way, container gardening is a good way. It's recommended. Plus there is advantages if you say there's ease of movement. You can easily move them in and out of the, like in winters, you can move them in. It's too cold outside. The plants sometimes die, in like lemongrass does die. Many plants do die, they get dormant. So you can easily move them, let them dormant, and after the winters are over, they can again switch back to producing their fruits. Then there's benefit of landscaping. Ab 2-3 plants ko combinations bana ke, you can start growing them. Like you can grow basil with tomatoes. It's a very good combination. Both are sun loving. Then you can grow radishes with cucumbers. They're both, sun loving, plus they keep away that beetles. The radish has the quality of keeping away that bugs and all. Then we have tomatoes with marigold. Marigold also keeps away the mealy bugs. So you can combine tomatoes. This is actually called layer gardening. This will really help you out in containers. Aap आसानी से you can move them around आपकी soil का combination or plants का combination लेके. Then कहाँ से शुरू करें? Bringing soil, it needs time. So you can start something we easily get in market is sprouts. आपके जितने भी legumes हैं, you get many sprouts. एक और चीज होती है, that is the microgreens. Microgreens can be grown with or without soil. They can be harvested in 1 to 2 weeks. Isme the roots are not eaten. They are grown the same way as sprouts, but iski roots nahi khai jati hain. Just in sprouts, you consume the whole of the sprout. You just wash it and consume. In microgreens, you need to cut them from above the roots You wait for the cotyledons to grow, and then you harvest them in 1 to 2 weeks. They take a longer time. I actually tried, growing them for you guys so that I can show them, but it's taking quite a lot of time. So microgreens is a good way to start. Why should, this is a new concept. It developed, I think, in 1980s or 1990s. क्यों grow करना चाहिए? It's easy to grow. You don't need soil. If you can look at the lower picture, there's no soil. There's just a layer of tissue paper. Uske niche there's a dripping tray. You can make holes in the above tray. Aap usme you can spread the seeds. What I recommend is if you soak the seeds for 6 hours, they're easily germinate easily. So that is a good way of growing microgreens. You don't need soil. You don't need direct sunlight. नहीं आती सबके यहाँ. You need, हमारे पास soil नहीं है, हमारे पास time नहीं है, हमारे पास sunlight नहीं है.
Or
They
Zahavia,
should
sorry
be-
to interrupt you, but yeah, these microgreens have really caught up, even in some good, hotels and restaurants, they serve these microgreens as part of amazing salad preparations, and they're really very healthy and nutritious. And
Yeah,
they keep you full
and
for a
it-
long time. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you understand the process, it's not very tedious. आपके घर में मतलब धनिया, mustard, जो
बिल्कुल.
राई होता है, अजवाइन, सौंफ,
Right.
flax seeds, chia seeds, any of them, you just take a tray, spread them after soaking. When you feel they're okay, good, nicely soaked, you spread them on the tissue, cover them, not completely covered, fungus लगने के chances होते हैं, but slightly halfly covered. Put them in a dark area, maybe in your kitchen cupboard or below your table or bed, जहाँ पर बहुत light नहीं जाती है, for 3-4 days, जब तक you feel कि they are not germinating. उसके बाद when they start germinating and you can see the shoots and the roots, you keep them in sunlight. So above picture में you can clearly see these are of flax seeds, chia seeds, and rye. These are all homegrown. You can easily do them. Start from, if you even have, up to matlab the hotel say you have so many of these disposables, you can easily grow in them. You don't need to have anything. Just the patience and the perspective. Yeah, I have to do this. I'm doing this because it's loaded with nutrients. Zinc, iron, magnesium, copper, they're rich in these. They have contain higher levels of vitamins and carotenoids. So एक और इसका point ये है कि if you are sowing radish seeds, तो उसमें you have that radishy flavor in the microgreens of radish. आप whatever microgreen seeds you're using, every microgreen is different in flavor, very much distinctive. कौन से आप seeds से grow कर रहे हैं. Some are, you can cut them, they can regrow. Most of them, it's not suggested because then they start having an increased sugar content. But एक दो बार you can obviously let them regrow because the roots are still there. So you can have, cycles of microgreens. आपने एक बार में you started with one, then the third day you started with another. So over a month, you will have cycles of sufficient microgreens you can use for yourself without doing much. And then we have common problems क्या होती हैं faced while gardening. First is infestation. As you can see, the rose leaves ऊपर हैं, they have got that fungus. या नीचे you have mildew on the leaves. कभी ये होता है कि you are overwatering, or maybe there is you are overfeeding your plants with nutrients. So you develop these kinds of diseases, or there's an attack from insects. Just maybe you'll get holes in the leaves, or maybe you will get an infestation from mealybugs or something. So that needs to be taken care of immediately. You should not ignore. Initially, you don't understand कि ये maybe हो जाता होगा. No, it does not happen. You immediately need to take care of that, because otherwise then it starts spreading to your nearby plants also. So I would suggest, there are many homemade remedies also, but for beginners, I would suggest that you go to your local nursery. Whatever he's suggesting, start with that. Organic ways bhi hai. You can do that with neem oil, or whatever he's suggesting. I'd better say you start with what your local nursery man is suggesting, until up to the time you're not able to take control of your plant situation. Second is underwatering and overwatering. What I have realized over time,
So,
overwatering is
Huda,
the
sorry interrupting, but we are running short of time. There are few more contest people are waiting for that.
okay. So I have
If you
only
can
2 more
just
slides
wind
left.
up in another 1 minute or
Yeah,
so.
I'm just winding up.
Thank
Second is
you.
overwatering, which is causing root decay. Underwatering, you can easily detect when you see the browning or the curling or wilting. आपको एक shrinking feeling देख के नजर आएगी if you're underwatering your plants. Then low sunlight also causes the variegated plants to lose your variegation. Or losing vertical control, which requires at some point you feel that your plants are not growing in height. At that point, what you can do is you can snip the branches from the top of your plant so that they can have many side branches, and that is very much visible in 4 5 days. As soon as you snip it from the top, आपके side branches immediately your plants get more bushy. So my recommendation living in Gurgaon and experimenting over all these years is that in vegetables, you can easily grow tomato, brinjal, ladyfingers, chili, capsicum, spinach. For creepers, you can grow cucumber, lauki, turai. For herbs, you can grow them from seeds, coriander, curry leaves. I would suggest you bring a sapling from a nursery, local nursery. The same goes for tulsi and basil. For vegetables, you can simply cut out a slice of your tomato or brinjal and soak up and dig them in the pots 1 inch deep. It works. It's the tomato is the easiest vegetable for beginners to start with. The vegetables, all of these, mostly many of the top 4 of these require the maximum sunlight. So obviously place them at a place where you get the maximum amount of sunlight. My last discussion would be on hydroponics. It's a system of growing food and water without the use of soil. But for that, you just simply can't start it in by putting any plant in the soil. You need a continuous supply of water soluble nutrients for your plants to grow. So it can be done utilizing vertical spacing, and which makes it a great fit for apartment balconies like Mumbai or Gurgaon and other confined areas. Advantages, and again, it's 100% organic. It uses less water. Crops are free from soil-borne diseases because you're not using the soil. Yield is 3 times higher than the soil plant. And if you can see on the right side of the picture, the roots are visible. They're not very deep because the roots do not have to go searching for nutrients in the soil. It's readily available for them in the water. So no, they're not very bushy at the root level.
Right. A lot of 5 stars and fine dining places and even small restaurants have started doing this in order to have their own food, in order to prepare their dishes. Because the whole transport and everything is so complicated now that they'd rather grow their food and then, make the dishes and serve people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a real hydroponics and is an upcoming thing, and it's really being appreciated. You need it's better to invest in good things, I would say.
Right. Absolutely.
And I would also like to show you Subhi Baji, can you please share
A short video.
yeah, that short video of whatever few herbs I have grown, and I've shoot that, and I've making good use of that and shown to you how can we utilize that.
Now I know where to go. I'll be reaching out to you for all.
Sure. I live nearby you. So by the time Subhi Baji is sharing the video, I would summarize whatever tips I would like to give to beginners. Start from buying saplings so that you don't get disheartened very soon. Snip the top of the plant if you feel that it's not growing very nicely. For successful germination, soak your seeds in water in case of microgreens. Then always check the soil with fingers before watering. There is no golden rule कि water once a day or twice a day or maybe thrice in one day. It very much depends upon the soil. Then bigger the pot, bigger the fruit. And if you need flowers, yes, one more important thing, you need to have flowers around you for your flowers, like in creepers, lauki, cucumber, for them to germinate.
Can anybody see the video?
We can see you.
We can
see
see
you,
Subhi
Baji.
Baji.
Can see you.
No, that's not so bad. We like seeing you.
We're actually seeing Zahabia's
No,
screen.
Zahabia needs to stop her screen
Yeah,
sharing.
she has to
Yeah.
stop her screen sharing. Then we'll be able to see.
Is anybody able to see anything now?
You
Yeah,
again.
now,
I did stop my screen sharing.
yeah, now we can see the
Yeah.
speakers.
With the speakers, yes.
Yes, Beta?
Nice to see you, Saima.
Oh, I don't want to rejoin. I'm there only. Oh my God.
Let me show you by the time. This is when
Just
you don't
don't worry
decide on
us.
the size of the pot. This is
Wow.
overgrown. Yes, Sujivaji.
Are you able to see now?
Yeah.
Thank goodness. तो TRP rating गड़बड़ हो जाती मेरी.
Ooh, yummy. Looks lovely.
Fantastic.
Lovely, looks lovely.
So
Thank
we all
you,
have been
Sahadia.
served a cup of tea.
Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
very, very
Tired.
interesting topic that you have covered, Sabia. And I look forward for all the tips that you have shared today. I'll also start growing these microgreens in my house, which I haven't tried yet. But because
That's why I
think-
shifted microgreens at the end because I wanted that to remain with people by the
Yes,
end of
yes.
this
No,
live.
that was amazing. Really, Zavia. Microgreens is like really happening all over the place for now.
Lifesaver.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So now moving on to a very exciting session, another section that we have tried integrating into our, today's session. So over to Nayara Baji. Nayara Baji, please रिवील करिए जो
हाँ.
इतनी मेहनत से सबने पूरे हफ्ते लगा के अपनी रेसिपीज हमारे साथ शेयर करी हैं. आई थिंक आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड एंड आई एम श्योर ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स आर लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड फॉर दिस.
The recipes were truly amazing. I was so happy to read them. मुझे read करते करते भूख लग रही थी. That was so good, all of them.
So, Assalamu alaikum to everybody. Welcome to this program. And it's really great that all of you have stayed back and listened to all the speakers. Though each of the speakers was excellent, and I really congratulate all the team to put up such a great show. I think it was really worth every minute that we spent here. And we got a very, very good response and very creative recipes for the competition, which we, sort of cooked up at the last minute. It was not a part of the program originally, but then we thought how to involve everybody from the audience. So we decided to have this competition, and it was thanks to the judges for taking out time to judge the entries so soon, and thanks to all the participants for responding so well with all their creativity. I'm going to share my screen, and I will try to show the names of the participants along with the dishes that they've made, and then I'll hand it over to the judges to announce the winners. So I hope you can see my screen.
Yes,
Yes, lovely.
Oh my God, look at
Oh
this.
wow, I'm hungry.
And imagine what I have been through, going through all the
Oh,
recipes without
really?
teaching them and typing them in and putting them on paper.
No,
Okay,
absolutely.
So we called this competition the most nutritious recipe competition, and the entries that we received for this, I will just. This is like the variety I've shown in the way people responded. So there were different varieties of entries. The entries, there was the first entry is makhana chaat, very interesting recipe by Sana Hasnain. Then there was diet namkeen. We'll be sharing all these recipes in the form of a PDF book with all of you.
Yes.
So you'll have all the details on that. I'm just rushing through the names of the recipes. Then there was diet namkeen by Afifa Masood. and Healthy Punch by Taskeen Aga. Sabiha Haider shared protein khichdi, very rich and nutritious. Shehla Rizvi shared soya bean rice recipe, again a very nutritious and very interesting recipe. Zahabia Raza Buddha, who shared her presentation also with us, she has shared a granola recipe, homemade granola, again a very, very professional looking granola, I should say.
Yes.
All the pictures have been shared by the participants themselves. So
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
So each of them has done the cooking probably and then shared it. And then there was Ariba Batul, who shared moong dal dosa, which is again an innovation. Naz Fatima, she was our youngest participant at 13 years of age. And she shared a beautiful video of making this chatpati dal
That is so
that she has
sweet.
shared.
Absolutely
And
delighted to
really
see.
special applause for her
Yes.
for having taken that initiative. Then Nishat Fatima shared the recipe for stuffed eggs with us. The next one was Sana Hasnain shared one more recipe, which was watermelon feta salad.
Wow.
And Kamar Auntie, congratulations to her for having taken so much effort to type in everything and send it to me on WhatsApp. That too, after almost at the last minute, but she did a great job of typing it in and putting it together. Immunity booster laddus, and I must say they are very, very good. I'm sure you all will try them when you see the recipes. Nazia Fatima, she shared her recipe for besan shira, and this also has some health benefits as well as some medicinal value in terms of treating cough.
Yes.
Then Insia Hussaini shared Healthy Wealthy salad, which was a very nutritious salad. I'm sure you all will try it. Rana Jafri shared a recipe for Zerwani. This is actually a haldi ka halwa, kachi haldi ka halwa, which she had shared, and she said that this was a recipe which dates back 200 years. So it's a very old recipe and again has medicinal, benefits. Kamar Auntie shared another recipe for sugarless dates laddus. Again, very nutritious without any sugar in them and yet sweet. Sana shared no baked breakfast bars. Again, without baking, very nice, nutritious breakfast bars. Batul shared veg kebabs also. Again, full of protein and nutrition. And Sabiha shared dry fruit milk with us, which was made of dry fruits. So now today's judges, the judges for this competition were, of course, our speakers who you have already heard, and they've been introduced by Sabah, Tasneem and Zareen. Both of them have really good knowledge of the subject, I'm sure, and it further reinforces it after their presentations today. So the participants can rest assured that the best recipe has definitely been chosen by them.
Absolutely.
Now I hand it over to the judges to announce, and I'll try to share.
No pressure on the
Over
judges.
to
No
you,
pressure at all.
No, to be
And
very
another
honest,
thing is we did not share the names of the participants, so they did not
Yes,
know the names
they were
at
not
all.
shared with us at all.
Yeah,
I
so I
think
told them the names of the participants just about 15 minutes before we started.
before,
A
yes,
lot of
absolutely.
secrecy in conducting this contest. A fair chance to everyone.
Tried to
No,
maintain
absolutely,
neutrality.
absolutely.
Double blind trial.
Zareen and
Absolutely.
Tasneem, over to you. We are waiting for you
Yes.
I'm
to
keeping
announce
my
the
screen
winners.
share on because I'll just put on the slide when she announces the winner.
Yes,
Okay.
Tasneem, can we see you? Yes, we can see you. Are you ready to announce the judges?
Yes.
Sorry, announce
the
winners.
Winners.
What's wrong with me?
You need date laddus now.
I need it. No, absolutely. No, I need food.
Take dates.
Yeah.
Funny, someone mentioned date laddus actually, because that is third place. So the second runner-up is Kamar Zahra Rizvi for the date
Yes,
laddus.
yes. Amazing recipe, Kamar Auntie. Amazing. We all loved it, and while looking at it, we were wanting to eat it. So yeah, totally amazing.
And I love dates. I'm literally sitting here with like a box of dates while speaking to you also.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
How do you go back?
Congratulations, congratulations, and celebrations. Like, congratulations.
And in second, which is the first runner-up, we have the Makhana chart from Sana Hasnain.
Yes. Yeah, congratulations. Is Sana Hasnain, is she there? I don't think so. Okay. Sana is also my brother's wife. Okay.
She's traveling today, actually. So
Yes,
that's why
yes.
she's not here today. She told me that she'll be traveling.
Yes, yes, yes. So Sana is also
I'm
my brother's
waiting
wife.
to hear the winner's name.
Yes. And the winners, please. And the winner, Tasneem, are you going to announce the winner? Yeah.
Do you want to do it?
You want me to do it?
You do it.
Okay, so the winner of today's amazing, recipe competition it goes to soya bean rice, and that is Miss Shehla Rizvi. Yay!
Wow, that's great.
So soya bean rice, it may not look like a very, European and, continental kind of a dish. It's more of an Indian, recipe, but it is flooded and very nutritive. It has soya, it has vegetables, it has rice. If you make that with basmati rice, you can even work on, because basmati rice has a low GI. So again, it is, it's for everybody. Everybody can have the soya bean rice, whether you're diabetic or if you are trying to lose weight or anything. Soya bean rice is the way to go. And having said that, all the other recipes are amazing in their own way. The shira, because no two people are same. People who are wanting to work out at the gym or maybe wanting to lose weight. So every recipe here, which will be shared with all our contestants, is beneficial in its own way. So we had to choose the recipes which were okay with everybody. So we had to go with these three recipes. Thank you once again, all the contestants. Thank you so much.
Meherbaji, are we having these recipes as a book?
Yes,
Yes.
we'll be having a book, and the certificates will also be sent to the participants. I would request all of the participants to send me a WhatsApp of their addresses. So maybe we could courier them or something where they can
Yes,
receive them.
that can be
So
done.
it has, the certificates have already been printed, and now that we
they're
have
printed.
announced the winners, you will be receiving it shortly. If we can see, do we have it on the screen also, the certificate?
Yes, I can share it. Yes, you see it now.
Yeah.
So this is what the certificate looks like.
Wow.
Oh, so sweet.
The winner's certificate, all of the names are mentioned here, which I've already mentioned. So
Yes, yes.
these will be posted to each of them.
Absolutely. That's great work, Meherabadi. This is very pretty. Thank you so much. It added to the whole, the whole session.
Yes.
Yes. And again, once again, thank you all, you lovely ladies, for
Maybe,
giving
honestly,
me
we
and my
learned
cousin this
so much.
opportunity.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic session.
Because of the paucity of time, while a lot of questions, as I said, was integrated, with the presentation while
Yes.
Zareen spoke and Tasneem and all of them spoke here. But if in case there are any more questions, we can't
Yes.
take any more questions today, but definitely you can reach out to us, share your questions, and our speakers have promised that they will revert back to each and every question asked.
Absolutely. Sabah, please share my email with everybody who has questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer
You
all,
can
all
put it
their
in the
queries.
chat box.
You
You can
put
put
it
it
in
in
the
the chat box.
Okay, I'll do
Tasneem
that.
has
I'll do
shared
that.
the formula already. Tasneem has shared the formula already in the chat box. I can see that, but I still don't see the table yet.
और
Yeah,
सब तो
it
ठीक
will
है.
take a little
इस
while
फॉर्मूला
to-
में सब कुछ ठीक है, बस एज नहीं होनी चाहिए.
Maybe सब लोग अपना अपना
Absolutely
करें.
wrong. No, I will not calculate.
सब लोग अपना अपना करें.
I'll just put the table up as well. It'll take a little longer to type. So
Yeah.
just give me like a minute more. I'll type it out.
Yeah.
And also, I would love if everyone could support me on Instagram. So I'll also put my Instagram handle down.
Absolutely
Yes,
do
please,
that. We owe
absolutely,
at
yes,
least
do
that
that.
much to you.
Please.
We'll do that.
we'll all start following you.
Yeah.
For the seasons.
Perfect. Great. I will just type out the table now as well.
Yes.
Oh, you can WhatsApp the table, no? Okay.
I could WhatsApp it. That'll actually make it
Yeah.
easier. I could just
Yeah, you can WhatsApp it because typing a table. So WhatsApp it to our group. We will forward it to the Shia group and all the other groups. So
Okay,
both the
perfect.
things you
Yeah.
can. see
Because
and
it's
all
actually in this little, like, I've actually created this little booklet about healthy
this. Oh, that's so
groceries.
cute.
Oh,
Wow.
that's so sweet. Okay.
So this is actually a part of the booklet.
Yeah.
So I will just send a picture
Yes.
of this. It will be
Click a
much
picture
easier.
and
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
that would be nice.
Yes.
So
Lovely,
such
lovely.
talented people on our forum today.
Ah.
Bhuda, your presentation was like awesome. You know, I'm going to follow all the tips that you shared today.
No,
I think I'll
absolutely.
start
And I
doing
was
that
taken away by the microgreens. मतलब microgreen तो आप खाली वो बड़े exotic जगह जाइए तो microgreen आपको इतना सा ऊपर से डाल के देते हैं. मतलब ये आप घर में उगा लीजिए.
Just
That
like the
is
base salt
amazing.
movement. Microgreens is like the base salt movement. अब थोड़ा
Yes.
sprinkle कर दीजिए and the price rises.
It just goes many a
Many-fold.
fold. Absolutely.
And Nayara Baji, thank you so much for all the efforts put in to get our, the
Definitely
winners
Nayara auntie and
announced
Lubna
today.
Baji.
Yes,
And of
absolutely.
course, Subui, Dr. Subui, she's a star, she's supporting us throughout. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It
Thanks,
was
Zarin,
great.
Yeah,
Bhuda,
and thanks a lot.
and all the
Thanks, actually.
participants who participated in the contest today. So,
Yes, and it was a good 2-hour session. So thank you for being patient with all of us. And I hope all our information helps everybody in some way that they want to.
Maybe sawab milega.